The moment a man realizes no one's coming to save him. Chapter 1. The Quiet Collapse. There comes a moment in every man's life when the silence gets loud. When you stare at your phone, waiting for someone to text, someone to notice, someone to care, but no one does. That's when you realize the world doesn't stop for your pain. Your tears don't move it. Your story doesn't slow it down. You start to see the truth. Nobody's coming to save you. You can scream for help, but no one's listening, because everyone is too busy surviving their own wars. You thought love would heal you. You thought friends would understand you. You thought someone, somewhere, would pull you out of your darkness. But life doesn't hand out saviors. It hands out suffering and watches who survives. Chapter 2. The Betrayal of Comfort. You remember the days when you believed the world was kind, when you thought being good was enough, when you thought people would reward your honesty, your softness, your care. But comfort betrayed you. It made you weak. It made you slow. It made you think the world would wait for you to be ready. And then one day it didn't. The girl you loved left. The friends you trusted faded. The job you dreamed of never came. You realize that life isn't fair. It isn't supposed to be. It doesn't care about your good heart. It only respects your strength. The truth hits you like a train. You have been waiting for rescue, while the world has been moving on. Chapter 3. The Mirror. You stand in front of the mirror and see a stranger. Eyes that once held hope now hold fire. Shoulders that once carried dreams now carry scars. You start to see the reflection for what it really is. A man who let life happen to him. You replay the moments when you stayed silent to keep peace. When you lowered your worth just to be loved. When you gave everything and they gave nothing. That's when you whisper to yourself, never again. The mirror becomes your enemy and your teacher. Because deep inside, you know this pain isn't your end. It's your awakening. Chapter 4. The Awakening. The moment a man realizes no one's coming to save him is the moment he becomes dangerous. Because he stops waiting. He stops begging. He stops hoping for someone to fix him. He learns to build himself from the ruins. He learns to turn silence into strategy, rejection into fuel, pain into power. He stops looking outward and starts building inward. You begin to train when no one's watching. You learn to speak less and observe more. You stop explaining your worth. You start proving it. You stop chasing people who left. You start chasing the man you're meant to be. Chapter 5. The World's Cruel Lesson. You learn that the world doesn't hate you. It just doesn't care. It doesn't reward your weakness. It doesn't clap for your potential. It only bows to results. That's when you start to understand Machiavelli. The world respects power, not pity. And power doesn't always mean control over others. Sometimes it's the control over yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your fears. You realize that discipline is more loyal than love. That solitude teaches you more than friends. That pain builds more character than comfort ever could. This is the world's cruel lesson. You can either cry about how unfair it is, or you can use it to forge yourself into something the world cannot ignore. Chapter 6. The Isolation Phase. Once you wake up, the world feels lonely because growth isolates you. You start pulling away from meaningless conversations. You stop explaining your silence. You stop proving your intentions. People call you cold, but you're not cold. You're focused. You start to understand that peace isn't found in people. It's found in purpose. The man who once begged for company now enjoys solitude. The man who once needed validation now creates his own worth. This phase hurts, but it's necessary, because before you can lead others, you must first command yourself. Chapter 7. The Fire Returns. Something inside you shifts. You wake up earlier. You move differently. You speak with weight. The same man who once drowned in self-doubt now walks with quiet confidence. You don't chase anymore, you attract. You don't argue anymore, you observe. You don't seek approval, you execute. You learn that revenge isn't destroying others. It's becoming everything they said you couldn't be. The world starts to notice, but you don't care for their validation anymore. You're too busy becoming the man you needed when you were broken. Chapter 8. The Rebuild. Every broken man eventually reaches the same point. the decision to rebuild, brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. You rebuild your body, your mind, your soul. You learn skills, you read books, you earn money. You invest in yourself the way you once invested in others. And slowly you start to rise, not for revenge, not for attention, but for peace. You realize that success isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the calm after the chaos. It's the stillness in knowing you no longer need saving. Chapter 9. The man who no longer waits. You no longer wait for opportunities, you create them. You no longer wait for people, you replace them. You no longer wait for love, you embody it. You stop playing the victim in a story that was always yours to write. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every betrayal becomes fuel. Every lonely night becomes a lesson. You finally understand. No one is coming to save you because you were always meant to save yourself. That realization doesn't break you, it builds you. It gives you an unshakable strength that no one can take away. You've been through hell, and hell couldn't keep you. Chapter 10. The Silent King. Now you move differently. You no longer explain your peace. You no longer defend your choices. You no longer seek to be understood. Because the man who's been through war doesn't need applause. He just needs purpose. You walk with quiet power. You speak with calm authority. You no longer ask, "Who will save me?" You simply say, "I'll handle it." You've become what the world never gave you, your own protector. That's when the universe shifts. Opportunities appear. People respect you differently. Women see your silence as strength. Men feel your presence without you saying a word. Because you've entered a stage few men ever reach. You've become self-made, not just in wealth, but in spirit. Chapter 11. The Final Truth. The final truth is this: you will never be the same man you were before the pain. You can't unsee betrayal. You can't unfeel loneliness. You can't unknow what it means to be truly alone. But that's your power now, because the man who has nothing to lose is the man the world can no longer control. You've stopped asking for permission. You've stopped begging to be understood. You've stopped searching for a hero. You've become one. So when life breaks you, remember this: the moment you realize no one's coming to save you is the moment you start saving yourself. That's where strength begins. That's where discipline is born. That's where greatness starts. Because the world doesn't reward the victim. It rewards the man who stands back up, even when no one claps for him. The man who fights in silence, who rebuilds in private, who turns pain into purpose. That man is unstoppable. No one is coming to save you. But the man who realizes that becomes his own savior.